Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Hey, you guys. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was putting sweaters on my dogs. They're so cute running around with their sweaters. They're kind of like shaking and rubbing against everything right now. Hold on a second. My screen's kind of fuzzy. I'm going to grab a cloth. It was clean earlier, but then, of course, I'm walking around with my phone and got it all dirty again. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back. That's much better. So welcome, you guys. We have quite a topic today. Oh my gosh, I got so pissed off this morning watching a video, and I didn't even watch more than maybe, I want to say 30 seconds of this video. So frustrating to me. It's actually, I think he's a psychologist, PhD, written books, all this, blah, blah. Been doing this for 10 years or whatever, right? And and I think he has a lot of good things. I haven't heard all his other videos, but from the comments and stuff, it seems like he knows his stuff about narcissism and personality disorders, things like that. And I thought, okay, this is good. I'll listen to this guy. I love to learn and I love to read and I love to listen to those who are far more educated than I am. So, that's how you learn, you know. But here's the deal. Sometimes you learn from people who don't have a better education or a higher education. They just simply have a good head on their shoulders. They have common sense. Well, this psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever he might be, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but he's got like, I don't know, hundreds of videos out there. And I'm watching him and he talks about he totally makes up these statistics or one statistic he talks about. And I will get to it later, but it pissed me off because it got me thinking about this topic today, which is how do narcissists control people, right? And keep them deluded for so long. How do they do this? Oh, there are some tools. Excuse me. There are some tools. I have this little bit of a dryness in my throat. So hold on a second, you guys. So how do they keep you deluded for so long? And those around them, of course, right? Yeah, I'm going to get into that today. Oh, it got me so steamed this morning, you guys. My husband watches me when I watch these videos, and he's like, you can just do a video or a channel on commenting on these videos. And not just these videos, I'm talking about all kinds of different videos where I see narcissism slip in, I see fake stuff slip in, I see delusion, control, guilt, all this crap coming out of people. And those who are watching it, it just makes me angry because I think those who are watching it trust these people, right? Because they think, oh, this guy's got a PhD. He must know what he's talking about. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever, or whatever, 100,000 followers. And you think, well, they must know what they're talking about. No, they don't. Do not trust everything that you see, even if it's coming from a PhD, even if it's coming from, heads of whatever organizations, by the way, because you need to use your common sense because we are being gaslit. That's what I've got to tell you. We are being gaslit. And sometimes these people are really well meaning, these PhDs that are out there, some of them. They're very well meaning. They understand personality disorders. They understand toxicity. They understand what it is to be deluded and to be destroyed and traumatized, right? Because they have clients that they take care of, patients, right? That they guide or whatever. So I'm just thinking, okay, so they know all that. How then would they decide to gaslight and contribute to the gaslighting? Well, because they're deluded, you guys. They are just as deluded as a person who's got barely a high school degree. It doesn't matter what degree you have, you can still get deluded. So you guys be careful of that. Who you listen to, don't give people more credit than they deserve, really. All right, you guys. So good morning. I'm so glad you're here, Carol. Good to see you. Thank you. Says love your channel. I appreciate that. John, good to see you. And Obi, good to see you. Yeah. Um, oh, okay. Obi thought he forgot to pay his internet bill. Nope. I'm here. I'm just late because I had to put sweaters on my dogs. They're sitting there shivering. It's too funny. Uh, yep. Yep, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Obi says, because you think they don't notice what they're doing because they play stupid. Yeah, sometimes they play stupid, but they also, they push their agenda. That's why, they defend it. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I have so much to talk to you guys about today because that just stirred up in me this whole topic and how it affects us and how we have already seen it in our relationship with the narcissist in our life, right? We've already seen it, whether it's your parent, your siblings, your coworkers, your neighbors, or your lover, right? Your spouse. You will have seen this already play out in your life, but now we're watching it on a grander scale, and maybe oh well, we all know it's always been out there in social media, which is total crap, by the way, you guys. Oh, don't get so caught up in that. It really bothers me seeing people primping themselves constantly. Give me a break. I don't know. People are just living in their own world. Total psycho world, right? But the rest of us, we're sitting there watching this going, what the heck? It's total crap. Anyway, we know their game. We can see through it, and it's annoying. And hopefully, we're educating others around us to see through the crap. That's what we just have to do. I pray that we would help little kids to see through it because that's my concern is that little kids think that this is all normal. Little kids grow up believing these delusions because they're surrounded by it, they're inundated by it, it's repeated continually, and then they get controlled. Yeah. Anyway, hey, you guys, let's talk a little bit about happies and crappies. And by the way, if you have not subscribed or know friends who need to subscribe, tell them to subscribe because I want them here. I want the conversation going. I want this to be a place where people can come and get truth, you guys, all right? We come here, we talk with each other, we share our experiences and our knowledge. That's what we do here. None of us is pushing ourselves, right? Some of these channels, they just are pushing themselves over, to make money, and it drives them. This is not my primary source of income. Although I would like it to be one day, but it's not. So I don't rely on this. And if I did, I can see why some people sell out. They totally sell out. Even these PhDs, psychotherapists and psychologists and whatnot. I can see why they sell out because they are making their living off of this. And that means the more people they keep under their spell, the more people they keep, needing them, right? Just like the narcissist needs you to need them to stay attached. That's what they do in order to make their living. So be careful of that as well, all right? They want to sell you their books or whatever it is. Oh my goodness. And books are not bad. I love books, by the way. And I'm going to recommend a couple to you guys today, by the way. These are books that I just read because, well, I like reading. I read all kinds of books. But a few months ago, I picked up a book called The Truth About Cancer. I think it was written by a man named Ty Bollinger. I think that's him. And I thought I was just going to get a bit about natural cures for cancer, stuff like that, right? Holy schmoly. If you want to know what's going the heck on out there in media town, in the news or newspapers and magazines, if you want to know our information system that's out there, and I'm not talking about social media, I'm talking about media that we have grown up with and trusted, all right? Read The Truth About Cancer by Ty Bollinger. I think within the first 2 chapters, you'll be blown away. It's so eye-opening. And look at this guy. He talks about, I'm like, why is he bringing all this up? This is incredible. He talks about a guy named Bernays, Bernays. Sounds like Bernays sauce, like hollandaise sauce, but it's spelled differently. It's Bernays, Bernays. He is the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm reading about cancer, and now I'm learning about this therapist, psychologist dude named Bernays, who's the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Why? What the heck? Anyway, if you look up this guy, you will find out what the heck is going on there. He did a huge study on, and he was paid to do this study on what is it? Mass manipulation. Think about that. Mass manipulation. So narcissists control on steroids, you guys. Steroids. So he does talk about that. Again, read it in the book. I mean, the book doesn't go completely all, it's not a biography about Bernays at all, but it does give you an insight about what the heck is going on right now. And yes, Obi, it is a sick game. I just saw that. Oh, I forgot. I got to turn off some of my notifications because I keep getting these notifications. Uh-oh. Can I do that now that I've already started? Yes. Awesome, because I don't want this interrupting me. Risk, good to see you. And dear beloved, good to see you. Oh, good. Dear beloved says, my 11-year-old sees right through it. Yes. Yep. Metal Gear, good to see you. Yes. Oh, yeah, Rissa says, I feel so depressed today. I can't believe this is happening. Don't be depressed. There's always goodness out there. Yes, we can easily get defeated and feel defeated, but don't let yourself stay there too long. It's not worth it, okay? Come on to these channels. Come on where there is such good things and fill your mind with good things. Do that. Oh, here we go. Marissa says, someone told me the narc and his new wife bought a house and new truck, and she got life insurance money while I am still paying for a truck he made me purchase. Oh, geez. Yep. Marissa, I don't know if you can do this, but I think the value of used cars has actually gone up because so many people want used cars. New cars, I guess sales are also up for some reason, but I think definitely used cars are up a lot. So if you can get a good deal for your truck and pay it off and then buy yourself something small. I mean, do the Dave Ramsey thing. He talks about that. That's what I do. It has saved me a lot. I don't live in debt. This is amazing for me. I know so many people who live in total debt. Everything is on credit. Their car, their house, their every month they're just paying off their minimum, and that's a really difficult place to be in. You become controlled by those debts and you want to be free of it. Yeah. Yeah. Tina C, good to see you. Sorry, guys, just reading some of the comments here. I'm going to go to live chat because sometimes YouTube doesn't show me all of the chats that are going on for some reason. Crazy. All right, you guys. Let's talk about a little bit of happies and crappies. Oh no, look at us. We're already 14 minutes in. I'm just telling you. Okay, let me go straight into the topic because I know you guys are waiting. The Narc's favorite weapon of delusion and control is morality and guilt. All right, I guess there are two, but their favorite weapon is morality, using morality. And they want you to believe that their morality is the right one. Okay, you know this, I know this. They have played it with us over and over again, where they play the victim, and if you have any morals at all, you would be on their side because they're the victim. We see it again and again. I saw that today with this, excuse me, let me get this drink. That's what got me on this topic. I saw this today with this psychiatrist, psychologist. I don't know what he is. Some PhD dude. So he is pushing for morality, right? From his perspective. And what he assumes is other people who don't choose what he chooses are 100% immoral. So to that, I'm like, oh, excuse me. I really should have tanked up on water. All right, getting there. Thank you guys for your patience. That's what happens when I get all worked up, right? I'm just like, oh, all right, you guys. Yeah, so this psychiatrist is talking about morality and is trying to convince people who are watching him that anyone who disagrees with him are immoral. To the point where he makes up baloney statistics, by the way. Baloney statistics. I'll give you what the scenario is. And I know this is total baloney because I know people, I know people who wear masks and I know people who don't wear masks. I know their reasons to wear masks and I know their reasons not to wear masks. All right? Now, this guy apparently is a pro-mask wearer, which is fine. No big deal, right? That's good. But he pushes that anybody who doesn't wear a mask is totally 100% devoid of any morality. And I'll give you his example. This is what he says. He said that 65% of the people, he says, if you ask people who, if you look around, you'll see like 65, I don't know where he lives, but he says 65% of the people are not wearing masks. I'm like, where are you? Because where I am, it looks like 100% of the people are wearing masks. Maybe 1%, now, one person here and there, maybe less than 1%. Occasionally doesn't wear a mask or has it, but hasn't got it on yet, or I don't know. Maybe they have breathing difficulties. I don't know. But here's the deal. He says that 65% of people don't wear a mask. I'm like, okay, I don't know where you are that they're not wearing it. Maybe at these riots? I don't know. So then he says, if you ask them why they don't wear a mask, they'll say, it's because I'm an American and I believe in freedom. Also good. I think that's good. That's fine. Good argument, right? And then he says, okay, but then if you ask them this other question, and the other question is, if you knew that wearing a mask would save a life, would you still not wear it? And he said all 65% of them would still say no. They would not wear a mask, even though they knew it would save a life. That is total BS, by the way. Total BS. Because the people that I know who don't wear a mask, they don't wear a mask because they don't believe the lies. They don't believe the lies out there. They've seen doctors who've come out. And by the way, when this all started, the Surgeon General of the United States came out and said, why are you wearing a mask? It is worse for your health if you wear it. And then the media, of course, goes crazy. And I don't know. Here we are, locked down. Businesses are shut down. People are losing their livelihood. They're going bankrupt. They're losing their homes. It is insanity. We are living in a gaslit world, you guys. So here's this, I'm sorry, he's an idiot. In my book, this PhD psychologist is an idiot. Because he's making up statistics. He says 100% of the people who don't wear a mask, they don't care if someone dies. Like, what? Wow. So that means everybody that I know who's incredible, great people who help people constantly, like their whole life is dedicated to helping people. They are not deluded by this narrative that's out there right now. Anyway, and because they're not deluded, he's, instead of saying, oh, they just don't believe the narrative that I believe, that's why they don't wear it. No, he has to go further than that and say, no, they have no morals. They don't care if people die. That's total BS, you guys. All right? So don't listen to people who make up statistics, for one, and don't listen to people who push this fake morality onto you. That is how narcissists control you and keep you in their delusion. Because you don't want to be seen as immoral, right? You're walking out there with a mask because you're thinking, well, I don't want people to think I don't care about grandma, right? I don't want people to think I don't care about other people, so I'm going to wear my mask. Now, that's a crappy reason to wear a mask, by the way. You should wear it because you actually believe that it protects you. All right, that's great. You should wear it because you actually believe that, whatever. By the way, I have listened to enough doctors that they have tried to suppress through all of this. You guys look it up. Look it up. They are suppressing the truth out there. That's why I feel like we're living in freaking Crazytown. And that drives me up the wall. Here's the deal. The narcissist wants you to feel like you're morally corrupt or you're morally bankrupt if you don't do what they tell you. So they play the guilt game. They want you to feel guilty if you don't do what they are telling you to do. And they tell you, if you do this, then you are moral, right? Then you have morals. So be careful when they try to control you like that. And by the way, the reason the narcissists do this is because they're not as strong as you are. They're not. They're not as strong as you are because they would rather live in their delusion and the narrative that they have built their life on rather than get healed. They would rather live in their delusion than face the truth because they have built their life on this narrative, right? They built their identity on it. Breaking the delusion or the narrative would require a truth moment on them, right? Would require them to take a hard look at themselves and their beliefs. It would require them to question the things that they trust. And remember at the beginning of this video, I told you about Bernays, about mass manipulation. Now, Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he's a psychologist, I guess, who did a huge study on mass manipulation. How do you manipulate the masses? Well, you take control of trusted media. You take control of the newspapers or the magazines or the channels, news sites that people trust. Once you get control of that, then you can fix the narrative to what you want to manipulate the people. Total crap, you guys. Total crap. So that is what's happening out there. And they would rather continue to trust the sites that they've always trusted all through their youth than to question, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And by the way, I'm not saying like these sites have always been correct. Maybe there was a time when they were trustworthy. And I look back and I think there was a time when real journalists were out there in these publications, in these channels, news channels, or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called now. Even sites. There were real journalists asking real questions. And now you're watching and you're like, something just doesn't set right with me. Something is totally off. That's your gut telling you. They're lying to you. They are lying to you. All right. Here's the thing. What's even more frightening to a narcissist, more frightening than living in their delusion and so frightening to them if they should have to face the truth, is that the truth would break their identity, their ego, their self, who they are. And that's why they can't do it. They won't do it because they're afraid of dismantling themselves. Now, why did I say that the narcissist is weaker than you? Because you are going through this process right now. You're dismantling yourself. You're coming down to the foundation of who you are. And that's what you have to do after you've come through trauma with a narcissist. Because they turn your world upside down. They twist your morality and they guilt you into doing things that are immoral. Now you feel guilt-ridden. Now you feel like, what is up and down? You don't know what's up and down anymore. You're spinning. And that's how they control you. They don't want you on firm ground. They don't want you to have a foundation. So they strip away everything. They get you spinning left and right because their morality is continually changing, by the way. And you have to continually chase after them. and do what they say if you want to appear moral, appear as if you are a good person. And when you come out of that, you have to strip down to your foundation. You have to rebuild. You have to determine what was right and what was wrong and take responsibility, right? For the things that you did wrong, the things that you gave into. You take responsibility for it. So, and you may feel guilt at first. Here's the deal. Guilt is fine because it alerts you to, hey, this is wrong. Don't do this. Now, guilt also may make you feel remorse, which is good, right? Because narcissists do not feel remorse. They do not like to feel guilt. They don't want to believe that they did anything wrong. So that is one of the reasons and one of the evidences that shows you that they are much weaker than you, because you're willing to feel the guilt. You're willing to say, oh my gosh, I was so wrong. I feel remorseful. I don't want to do that to again or to another person or whatever you might have done. I will not do that again. And you change your ways. That is the new foundation you are building. You change your ways. The narcissist doesn't do that. The narcissist continually defends their horrid behavior and tries to twist the lies to match their narrative, so that they can continue to believe that they are somehow still on this moral high ground while everybody else is a villain. Everybody else who believes the opposite of them or who opposes their narrative is the villain. And they continue to live in this crazy, horrid narrative where you now can see and start to get clear-minded. You now are so much stronger than they are because they can't do this work. It's so bizarre because to me it seems like a whole lot more work to stay in that delusion, right? It's so destructive. It's so fraught with fear and anger and distrust. When you talk to a narcissist, you realize there's no way they have any peace about them. There is just no peace about them. They have moments of control. They have moments where they seem like they're on top of the world or they're strong, and they portray that. They take a picture, a snapshot of that. And that's what we see. And then we think, wow, how is it they're so strong? How is it they're so convincing? How is it that they're so, I don't know, that they're like a pillar that can't be budged? It's not true. It's all a facade. They are so weak-minded that they continually build this fortress around their delusion to protect it, because they don't know, and they don't know that they could survive a demolition of that delusion. By the way, if you should demolish that delusion, to them it's like demolishing their identity. For us, if we demolish a delusion we've been living under, it sets us free. It sets us free. We feel guilt. We work through that guilt. We make amends. We change our ways. And then we live freely. We live with peace and goodness and positivity in our life. So don't be depressed out there. Don't feel like you're defeated. You're not defeated. But we do need to demolish the delusion that was set up around you by the narcissist, and even the delusion that you built alongside the narcissist in order to live in their Crazytown world, right? Just make sure that you don't continue living in this delusion or listen to channels that try to keep you in this delusion, okay? Obi says, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Obi, about that. Totally agree. You guys are going to have to go in and watch and read this, because I don't want this to be struck. All of my videos, this is crazy, you guys. Every single one of my videos for the last few months, okay, not every single, I think maybe 5 were not struck down, but several of them were struck with demonetization because they feel like I said something that goes against their narrative. I'm like, what the heck, you guys? So if you can watch And if there have been some of my past, so I challenged those. And when I challenged those, most of them become monetized. So thank goodness for that. So when you do come across a video that has a commercial, please watch one or two of those commercials, or let it play. You don't have to be in the same room. You can mute it if you want. So let it play, because I am hoping to be able to make this my main thing. And if I can make this my main thing, I would do it like twice or 3 times a week, you guys. And I would make more of the smaller videos. They just take way too much time from me, like 9 to 10 hours to make those smaller videos, because I edit and all this business and find pictures and sayings, words of wisdom for you guys. And it's so much easier for me to just have a live stream where I can speak the words of wisdom to you, and hopefully get you on the right track, get you guys moving in the right direction with hope and with kindness and with generosity in your heart. I want to spread goodness. I want to spread the truth. I want to spread humanity. And there's so much out there right now that is so dark and negative. And I want to fight against that. So anyway, you guys, watch a video now and again. And if you want to contribute to this channel, that would be awesome as well. You can go to my website. There's a way to contribute through PayPal or something like that. So the website is escapefromcrazytown.com. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm going to check out some of these comments here. Yeah. Metal Gear says, my ex-narc fiance left me a huge debt too, but it didn't stop me to rise up to improve myself. Good for you. Good for you. In fact, my debt is under control and I'm getting a new car this Saturday. Woohoo! Cheers to you, Metal Gear. Good, good, good. Tina says, my ex talked his new supply into leaving her husband. Oh my gosh, yeah. And 4 young daughters for him and his 3 young kids. Talk about no morals. Right? I'm telling you guys, do not listen to these crazy people that are out there right now. And narcissists, oh my gosh, they love to give advice. They love to give advice. And as you guys all know, narcissists do also study people. They think that they are incredible people readers. They think they can, they like to play therapists. They like to believe that they are better therapists than the therapist they go to see. Total nuts. Total nuts. Dana, good to see you. Says, I always said it was like a roller coaster ride. In 5 months of this no contact discard, I now realize it wasn't a ride. It was more like pushing that roller coaster. Thank you for your wisdom. Ah, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Yep. Yeah. I love that you guys kid with each other on here too. Please, invite your friends who are in turmoil, because I want to keep this community helping one another, and it's a good community to face reality together. Let's not allow delusion to continue to control our lives. So let me tell you, the narcissist uses this weapon of morality. They want to tell you, oh, if you aren't doing what I'm telling you, you're on the wrong team. If you aren't pushing, oh my gosh, you guys, okay, I am totally against this other narrative that's out there right now. Total crap, by the way. And I hope more of you guys realize this is total crap. But they have been teaching this in the universities. I have a friend who's in a university right now, and he's being forced to read one of 3 books on, what do they want to call it? Racial equality, that's what they want to call it, but it is actually racism. They are reading books, one book in particular, let me think, what is it called? How to Be Anti-Racist. So this person who wrote that book is on the New York Times best-selling list, which they should not be. It's so disgusting to me. But this person actually, that author actually believes that the way to fight racism is to be a racist yourself. And they don't say racist. They say the way to fight discrimination is to discriminate yourself, against others. So total craziness. Oh, there was a university in, I think it was Michigan. They took it down right away. But, this is, you guys, I have friends on the right and the left, okay? I love them both. I want to tell you that. I love them both. But this university in Michigan, the left have pretty much taken over. They're pushing the whole we have systemic racism. Everybody hates black people, which is absolutely not true. I have black friends, actual real black friends that I hang out with. Okay, you guys, this is total crap that they act like, oh, only, you know, I don't know. It's total nuts. And here's the deal: the friends that I have are not all American black, by the way. They are from other countries as well, which I love. I love multicultural stuff. The group that I belong to, that I get together with. It's a Bible study group once a week. We are multinational. We have Middle Eastern. We have, and I didn't realize this, but yeah, one of the ladies is from the Middle East. And anyway, it's a really good group. I love it. But here's the deal. Out in Michigan, what they did is they set up the left. This is not the right. I was really surprised. I was like, holy cow, did the right do the alt right? No, it's the left. The left set up a cafe for, they called it for only non-POCs. So no people who are not persons of color. And people who are not persons of color is another way to say it is white, right? So this cafe is for whites only. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is set up by the left, not the right, by the way. This is what I want to tell you guys. That is what the left had set up. The leftist students set up a cafe that only white people can go into. I'm like, what the heck is that? That is going backwards, far, far backwards. Why would the left set that up if they are supposed to be anti-racist? Like, that is total segregationist racism right there. In California, they have it on the ballot. They actually got it passed, where it's now going to be on the ballot in November for them to vote to get rid of the Civil Rights Act in California so that they can discriminate, so that they can set up housing just for colored people and housing just for white people. And they're trying to set up where universities can reject you based on the color of your skin. I was like, why would you want to go back to that? You guys, these people are being gaslit. They are being gaslit, left and right. Be careful of that. If someone is telling you this is good for you because they want to tell you how it benefits you, okay, it might benefit you if the segregation is favors you, right? If whatever color you are, let's say you're white, and that white cafe out in Michigan, University of Michigan, they took it down, by the way. They took it down right away after people started saying, what the heck? This total sounds, because I think people thought at first it was an alt-right group that set it up, and then it turned out it was a leftist group that set it up, and they thought that would, I don't even understand the thinking behind that. But they thought that segregating white people and people of color was a good thing. If someone is telling you that it will benefit you because it will get you the job, it'll favor you because it'll get you the job. It'll get you the acceptance into the university. It will get you preferential treatment. Now, by the way, if you want to do away with the Civil Rights Act, it will also work against you because then people who don't like your color, if you're white or if you're black or if you're Asian, whatever, whatever color you might be. Because not all Asian people are yellow, so I don't understand that. But anyway, we all know the stereotype. So here's the deal. If you think it will benefit you, recognize that it will also come against you, and it will be used against you at some point. Hey, by the way, I want to tell you about this fruit that's on here. Yes, Malcolm X did believe in segregation. Here's the, I don't get it. They're hailing him. Now, he had some pretty interesting insight, by the way. I mean, I've read some of his stuff. I watched some of his interviews, and I'm like, whoa, this guy is somewhat aware. But a lot of times I think I don't want to get into that. But no, I don't think segregation is a good thing. I think that's ridiculous. What are you going to do with the intermarriage, right? Interracial marriages. What are you going to do with people who are mixed race and they don't look black enough and they don't look white enough? Where do they go? Where are they supposed to be? Right? What the heck? And when it's convenient, they'll claim whichever color, I guess, they are. Although they look completely one race. They can claim. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, I don't even want to go into that. It is total hysteria out there. That's what I have to say. Yes. I agree with you, Victoria. Just be an American, you guys, or just be whatever. When I think of French people or German people, or if I think about Italians, or, okay, it's interesting though, mostly in the West, there are all these mixed colors, right? People come from in every color. Now, when you think about Africans, you think, oh, must be all black, but no, not true. There are North Africans who are Middle Eastern types, right? They have dark skin, but they're not black. They're Middle Eastern. And then you've got, of course, South Africa, which not everybody there is black. So you meet some Africans who are actually white because they're descended from the Dutch. And then you have but everywhere now we're becoming more and more mixed, which I think is beautiful. I think it's beautiful that more and more people in South America are mixing, more and more people in Asia are mixing. There are so many mixes out there now, which I think will save the world if we will allow it to save the world. This is really disgusting to me. I have one friend who is white, and their partner, I guess, girlfriend, is also white, and the two of them are far leftists, right? And they believe that they're against races mixing. I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? You're supposed to be the party of integration and tolerance and no racism, but they themselves are about as white as you can get, all right? The both of them. And they're against races mixing. I don't think they come right out and say that, but they don't. I don't even want to put words into their mouths. But anyway, here's the deal. When people are spouting one thing, but then they live a different way, you got to look at that and go, what the heck? That's not good. That's not, they're professing one thing and then living out their life a different way. And you cannot trust that. Trust what you are seeing. Trust your gut. Because if your gut is telling you, well, this is crap, no, I don't accept this. And your gut is, you're feeling like you have to twist your brain, twist your heart in order to live out this contradiction that they are living, then run the other way. It is not worth it, you guys. Do not stay in that weird, crazy delusion. And they totally believe that they are on the moral high ground. Maybe they're part of the people who are in Michigan doing this, although they're on a different coast, by the way. Or Michigan's not on a coast, but you know what I mean. They are far from that state, and they are not there. I just don't even understand. I don't understand why you would do away with the Civil Rights Act that people gave their lives, the blood, sweat, tears to get equality, to be treated based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. I want to push that so much, you guys. The content of your color, content of your character, not the color of your skin. Content of your character, content of your character, content of your character, and not the color of your skin. That is what's important. That is how we should live. Do not listen to the narcissists out there. Do not listen to those who are controlled by the narcissists out there. Don't listen to those who are deluded in the narcissist Crazytown. So what would the narcissist have to do to live in reality? What does the narcissist have to do? They would have to do exactly what you have had to do. They would have to come out of the delusion. And it's painful, as you all know. It is painful coming out of the delusion, right? Many of us look back with sadness because we miss what the delusion we used to live in, right? We look back and we miss the fantasy world that the narcissist had built around us. And we wanted to believe that we were their soulmate, or we want to believe that we were the most important person in their life, even though they weren't treating us like the most important person in their life, right? They weren't treating us that way. But in order to stay deluded and in order to remain under their control, they would keep the delusion, their narrative going. And it's really painful to break from that because you have to admit to yourself, I wasn't the most important person in their life. I wasn't their soulmate. You have to admit these things. The narcissist cannot do that because it's too scary and unreliable and unstable of a situation for them to let go of their narrative. They won't, you're not sure if when you let go of that delusion, that's when you're not sure which way is up or down, and your moral compass is squashed. It's broken. When you recognize that your moral compass is broken, it is a very scary place to be because you want to do what's right. I mean, the Bible says that God writes his rules, his laws in our hearts. So we know what's right and wrong. This has been the philosophers' debate forever, and it still continues to be debated. Where do we get our morals? How do we know what's right and wrong? Like, where is it that people automatically become moral? And they're like, well, they're taught this way. Yes, some of it is taught, definitely. Some of it is imitated, definitely. But even if you set two people who've never had interaction with other people and they grow up, how is it that they know to work together? How do they know, oh, survival instinct, this and that? So it's been this debate forever. They're trying to figure out, these philosophers have always tried to figure out, where does morality come from? But in the Bible it says God writes his laws in our hearts, on our hearts. So we know, even though we were born and we've never been taught anything from birth, we will know what's right and what's wrong. Narcissists will ignore that morality that was written in their hearts. And I think some of them are psychopathic. So they have a brain dysfunction that prevents them from having these morals. It's really sickening and sad, but that's why narcissists can be so dangerous. And why I tell you guys to be very careful. Don't mess around with narcissists. Don't play with them. Don't try to manipulate them. Like, if you can get away from them, just get away from them. But if you have to work with them, if you have to be in the same room with them, if you have to see them every holiday because they're in your family, or because they're the parent of your children and you have to interact with them, that's one thing. Now, stay in control of yourself, because whatever you do, it's up to you. Your reaction is up to you. Have boundaries. Be able to have an escape plan, which is walk away, have a ride, have your own car there, have a way of getting away. If you need to interact with them and it goes south, you get out of there. So you guys, narcissists will hold on to the delusion because it is too painful for them to live in reality. So they would rather continue to guilt you into their delusion, telling you that you're immoral if you don't do what they say. And narcissists have determined that they set the moral compass, right? They determine that their morality is the highest morality. Everybody else is beneath them. So even when you try to tell them your perspective, they just can't see it. They can't see it because they are stuck on their rules, their laws, their narrative. They build their whole world according to it, and they protect it at all costs to their mental health. That's why narcissists do not get better as they age. They continually fall into this pit of protecting themselves, that they were right, and you can't even pierce that, their thinking. You can't pierce that. You can't tell them, you can't help them dismantle the delusion that they live in, that the whole world is against them. Everybody in the family is out to get them. Everything that they remember in their past was somebody's purposeful attack on them. Nothing was ever an accident. Nothing that anybody has done that hurt them was ever accidental. It was always on purpose. And that's their narrative. They live by that. And it's very sickening and sad because they end up lonely, bitter, completely delusional, and they wonder why people don't come and visit them. They wonder why people, their relatives, don't call them, why their children don't call them. They wonder why people don't stick around for very long. They just don't get it because they build this crazy, psychotic world around them. And then if you should step foot into it, like if you still have a relationship like I do with some of the narcissists in my life, I go and visit them because I love them, okay? You can love a narcissist, but you don't want them to be able to take control of you. So I go and visit them because I care about them. I go and I visit, and here's what I get. I get their psychotic world view of their life. I get this psychotic view of how everybody in their life has been out to get them and is continuing to be after them. And they will drag up stories from 30, 40, 50 years ago. This is why I know, like the older narcissists, they don't change. They will drag up stories from their childhood and how that one person now has been marking them for destruction or attacks all their life. And you're like, what the heck? You know, sometimes just cut it off. And you tell them this. You tell them, all right, why don't you just cut off contact with them? Narcissists can't. They can't do it because they want to continue to control the other person. If they are able and they have something that other people in their life, their relatives, need, say even their children, and I've seen this where the children need money from them, so they know they still have control over their kid. They will continually bring up how their kid is using them, is so terrible to them, is whatever, you know. And you tell them, well, then stop paying your kid's apartment, stop paying your kid's car payment, stop paying their cell phone. Nope, they won't do it. They won't do it because then they will lose control over their kid. This is, you know, this is why I say get on your own 2 feet. Whatever it takes, get on your own 2 feet. Do not need the narcissist. And here's another thing. So you talk to the narcissist, and this has happened with me. I talk to them. I try to point out reality, even evidence and facts, and they won't see it. They just can't see it. And it's happening on the grand scale now in the mass manipulation, by the way. There are facts, there's evidence, and people refuse to see it if it breaks from their narrative. If it breaks from the delusion they have been living in, you cannot even show them facts. Oh my gosh, there's a video. I cannot remember this guy's name. If you look up KGB defector or ex-KGB agent defector from Russia, Brezmenov, something like that. I think that's his name. Yuri Brezmenov or something Brezmenov. He actually gives a whole course on how the Soviets have overthrown countries. Let me tell you something. U.S. has done this too, by the way. If you take a look at Syria, Libya, what happened 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, look into it. Look into it, you guys. It is the same tactics on how to overthrow a government. It's total Crazytown out there. So what they do is they delude people. They delude the masses into believing that their government is evil or needs to be destroyed or needs to be overthrown or whatever. And they're like, wow, we're on the good side then. We're overthrowing something that's evil. And let me tell you, there definitely are governments out there that are evil. I'll tell you that for sure. And I know the U.S. government has been evil for sure. That's sickening to me too. There are times, you remember there was a time, oh man, you guys, I am going so far off, but it has to do with narcissism because it's a delusion that is now being set out there in the mainstream. It is in the market square. It is where we all congregate. And we see it being bombarded into our lives through social media, through our phones, through entertainment, through even news sites that we've trusted. We're being bombarded with this total crazy town thinking, narcissistic control, guilt, morality, upper, they want to convince you that if you are not with them, then you're against them. If you're silent, then you're against them. If you're still making up your mind, then you're against them. It's like, what the heck? No, give me some space to do some research, people. And they should be like, yeah, do your research. Take your time, do your research, do what you need to do. But do your research. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Investigate. Narcissists won't do that. They continue to control and corrupt. But Bresmanoff, what he talks about is how they do control. They do the mass manipulation thing. Holy crap, you guys. Just look into this. They push their narrative of moral superiority, even though they are misinformed. And here's what Bresmanoff says. He says that, I'm trying to remember. He says so many things. But he says it will get to the point where people get so deluded that they will not listen to facts. They will not look at the evidence until the boot of the people they were supporting, the people who they thought were the good guys, until those boots are crushing, and I won't talk about it, but crushing their, sensitive parts, or on their neck. And that's a very scary, creepy place to be. Take a look at Libya. That's what happened to them. They overthrew their Gaddafi, right? Their the leader, and now look at where they are. It was, you guys. I'm not even gonna get into it, but U.S. definitely had some things to do with that, to help overthrow Gaddafi. Total crap. Our media came up with all kinds of lies about him. Was he the most wonderful, amazing person? No, absolutely not. But he had control over the evil elements that were trying to take control over his country. And he gave some order to their country, some protection of rights. I don't know. I don't want to talk about rights, but there was some order under him. Right now, I mean, we have to look this up because our media will not expose this and will not talk about it for some reason. But right now in Libya, people are being sold in markets into slavery. Slavery, you guys. There are black people in Libya being sold to other black people as slaves. Look into it. But that's the boot crushing the neck of those who helped overthrow Gaddafi. That's the boot that's on them right now, which is sickening to me. And that's why I want you guys to wake up. Please wake up to narcissistic abuse. Wake up to the delusion that's out there. Do some investigating, whatever you want to do, And here's my deal. Pray. I pray for the truth to be revealed. And that's what we want. Like, if I'm the one who's deluded, I want to know. I want to know if I'm the one who's deluded. Okay, if I'm the one who's not seeing the truth for some reason, I asked for that. I asked, please, Lord, give me the truth. Make me be able to see what is out there. Thank you. I don't know who gave me this. Maybe I can find it. But thank you so much. No more narcs. Thank you. I appreciate that. The people who are out there right now are trying to crush us. And then there are a lot of people who are deluded by the lies that are out there because they want to be on the good side. They want to be on the side of morality. Of course you do. Of course you want to be on the side of morality. This is why I have friends on the left and the right, because my friends are good people. They are well-meaning. They are not left or right because of immorality. They're not out there because they have no conscience. No, they have a conscience, but some of them are being deluded. Some of them believe the lies, and they are being manipulated. I still love them, but they're being manipulated into believing they're on the good side. So be careful of that. Always, always. And be kind. It takes nothing to be kind. It takes nothing for you to be kind, generous, loving, hopeful, and filled with goodness. Always do that for yourself. Always do that for yourself, no matter where you are. I've read stories about concentration camps in Nazi Germany and how some people have come out of it. I read Nobel Prize winners for literature who wrote about it, and yet sadly in their writing, this is Elie Wiesel. It looks like Elie Wiesel, but the W makes a V sound in German, so Elie Wiesel. He won a Nobel Prize for his book Night, and it was about his experience on a cattle car. He's a Jew who was gathered up and sent to a concentration camp, and then the experience he had there and coming out of there. And sadly for him, he talks about no hope. Like for him, there's no hope. He wins the Nobel Prize for this. No hope whatsoever. But then I read other people who've written books. Corrie ten Boom, for instance. I don't know that she won the Nobel Prize. She should have won a Nobel Prize. She lived out the concentration camp, lost people, her sister and her dad, and that was all that was left of their relatives. And she still writes of hope after all of that. She writes of her experience in it and how horrible of an experience she had. And yet she wants to pass on hope, you guys, hope that there is still goodness in this world. That's what deserves a Nobel Prize. Anyway, you guys, or a Pulitzer Prize, I don't remember. But you guys understand what I'm saying. Don't be controlled by the narcissist narrative. Yeah. Oh, B.B. Scott. Yes. Yes. I'll look into that. Philosopher Hegel. Left versus right is a false paradigm. Philosopher Hegel explains how they use it. Absolutely. Because they want you to feel pitted one against the other. And I've said this before. This is not liberals against conservatives. This is not left versus the right. This is not Democrat versus Republican. This is good versus evil, you guys. And always look at that, good versus evil. And not all of one label is all good, and not all of one label is all bad. Okay? Know that. This battle is not against flesh and bone. The Bible says it is in the spiritual realm against the heavens, in the heavens. It is being fought. It is good versus evil. Yeah. Sorry, you guys. I just, I am really out there right now because my heart just goes out to those who are being injured through all of this right now. My heart goes out to those who are most affected, who've lost their livelihood, who are going bankrupt, who've been physically injured and have lost family members, okay? My heart goes out to them. It is good versus evil. And be on the side of good. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, do what's right. And what's right is not hateful. What's right is not full of revenge, right? It's not, goodness is not vengeful. Goodness is not hateful. Goodness is not racist. You don't need to discriminate in order to get rid of discrimination. That's a total lie. That is in a book by an author who is now a New York Times bestseller, who is being forced into the universities, the university one of my friends goes to. He's being forced to read this book, to brainwash him. So you guys, be careful, please. If you have kids, talk to your kids. Teach them that not all that they see is real. I remember growing up reading newspapers. Yeah, I used to read newspapers when I was a kid. I don't know. It was what we had. We didn't really have books in our house, but we had newspapers. And I remember learning, at first I thought, oh, if it's in a newspaper, it must be true, right? If someone wrote it and it's being circulated to millions of people, it must be true. So they must have done their homework. They must have Do not believe, even in the newspaper, everything that you read. Because some of it, these are just people. They're flawed. Not only are they flawed, some of them have agendas. Some of them are being paid to print certain things. So be careful what you read. Don't take it as truth. Even in the news, when you're watching news channels, they are being paid to push a certain narrative. And we have got to see this as good versus evil. If it spouts revenge, if it spouts hatred, if it spouts discriminating against people based on the color of their skin, like they're saying it's okay to discriminate. I'm like, what the heck? No, it's not. Why don't you take people for who they are by the content of their character? Why don't you do that? All right. I'm sorry. So I just kind of cut off on that. The reason the narcissist uses morality and guilt to delude you is because it is so effective. That is why right now people are so divided, because each side believes they're the moral side, right? Now, one side, I believe, is deluded because they're both sides who are espousing opposite information cannot be right. That is, good cannot be bad and bad cannot be good. God cannot be evil. Satan cannot be good. Can Satan do good things? Absolutely. By the way, yes, bad people can do good things. You all know this. You all know this because you have experienced it with the narcissist. This person is horrible. The narcissist is a horrible person, the person who destroyed your life, who set you up, who bankrupted you, who cheated on you, who stole your life. They are bad. You know this, right? But you have seen them do some good things, right? You have seen them help other people. You have seen them give money away. You've seen them be kind, even, right? To some people. And you're like, that's why it's so confusing. Because you're thinking, wait a minute, how can they be good, but they're so horrible? Well, the thing is, whatever good they do, they know they are investing in themselves. They are investing in winning over the other person. The whole gaslighting, the whole love bombing, they are using these as tools and even preaching on morality. You see them preaching morality, and at first you're like, well, yeah, that makes total sense what they're saying. It sounds moral to treat others well, like to fight for those who are weak. Wow, that sounds totally like a good thing, right? But then they change the direction, or not direction. They target a certain person or group of people, and they will say that's the enemy. Now you must destroy them. Have no mercy. Have no grace. Don't even give them 20 seconds to talk. You just go in and you destroy them. If that's what they are saying to you, it is total crap. And that's how you know the difference between good and evil. Good will not say that. Good will not say, go in there and destroy them and give no mercy. Good does not do that. Well, you guys, I'm so sorry. I have gone on about good versus evil, because that is the fight. That is the fight out there with the narcissist. And they will continue to fight for what is evil. They will. And they will continue to fight for their delusion because it serves them. It serves them. Here's the other thing you have to consider. The narcissist, and I've done a video on this before, will destroy themselves fighting their enemy. They don't care. They will destroy themselves in order to take down an enemy of theirs, or perceived enemy, because they are that deranged and that full of hate that they don't care who they destroy, including themselves. And definitely they don't care about the people around them that love them. They will destroy those who love them in order to destroy their target. They just don't care. They will bankrupt their own family. They will steal from their own family in order to destroy somebody else. They don't care. And it's very, very sad and sickening. Sorry, you guys. Boy, I really got down a dark hole there. But, I want you to know that darkness, evil, they, it, they will stop at nothing. And you have to be careful and not entertain or be part of it or think that you can control them. You can try to show them the truth, but like I told you, they will not see the truth. They are so deluded. There are those out there who are deluded by the narcissist, and they're not part of the machine that's driving the evil, but they contribute to it because they are deluded into thinking they're on some moral high ground. They're on the morality, whatever, kick that side the narcissists are spouting. So the sad thing though for them, some of them are narcissistic, some of them are toxic, and they won't let go of the narrative because it would challenge who they are. It would challenge their foundation of morality, and it would challenge all that they had believed all this time, right? It takes a lot for you to stop and say, maybe I need to dismantle this. Let me start at the beginning. Let me just take everything that I believed and put it aside for now and start from the bottom. Start from the ground. Build a new foundation. And if what you believed before is still holds true, bring it back in. Bring it back into your sense of morality, your drive, your what guides you. Bring it back. And that's fine. But you have to start questioning. Well, you guys, our hour is up. I want to give you a few minutes to wrap up your conversations, and I want to see what you are saying. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Obi, for saying that. I love that you say that. You guys, whether you agree with me or not, that's okay. You're always welcome here, and I want your input. But Obi, I love that you said this. Bible is truth all the way around. These rules weren't made to put a damper in your life, but it helps you understand everything life has to offer. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, Mario. There has to be an underclass to keep the upper classes in check and enslaved to the highest class. Oh, I see what you're saying there. So there's a group that's on the lowest side. You're right, there is. And this Brezmenov, I think that's what his name is, the Soviet KGB, ex-KGB defector. Look him up, you guys, because that video was pretty eye-opening. He's talking about real life takeover, and he talks about taking 20 to 40 years or something like that, 1 to 2 generations to do it because they infiltrate. They infiltrate the media, but they also infiltrate the educational system. And that is what's happening right now. They're infiltrating the educational system to teach them up is down is up, left is right, right is left, and good is bad is good, segregation is good. If they, think about that. How the heck can they teach that segregation is good? How can they teach that? And people buy into it because they convince you. Well, segregation helps you hold on to your culture. By the way, I never lived during segregation times and I still have culture. How is that? How is it that I've never been segregated and yet I still have culture? Look at different communities. I look all around me and I see different communities holding on to their culture, for crying out loud. I see little German communities holding on to their cultures. There's little German towns all around the United States. I see little communities of, by the way, I have friends who are from Iraq who are, they came here as refugees about, I want to say 10 years ago now, and maybe even longer. How long have I known them? I've known them about 10 years, so they must have come before that. So, they hold on to their culture, by the way. No segregation needed to hold on to your culture. They hang out with other Iraqis. They have a community of friends from Iraq and Middle East. Doesn't have to always be from Iraq. They get together quite regularly, at least every week, mostly, even a lot of times every day. Every day they're getting together because they live in communities, right? You can do that. You don't need laws of segregation to hold on to your culture. What a load of crap that is. And yet, some people are buying it. I don't understand that. Some people are buying it and thinking, oh, we need segregation, so we need to get rid of the Civil Rights Act. Let me explain something to you. Those who want to get rid of the Civil Rights Act are the racists. They are. If they want to get rid of the Civil Rights Act that says no more being able to exclude people and no more setting up exclusive you guys, incredible to me. Oh, and I'm going to say this. I may be very unpopular to say this, but this is the truth. And those of you who don't want to hear the truth, I guess get off right now. I don't know. But here's the deal. The more I learn about Trump, the more like what he actually does, and not just hearsay and what people say he said, and the way people have taken sound bites and edited out crap. Okay, I didn't realize he had done this, but his country club in Florida, he was the first to allow or get rid of, well, I don't know, challenge all the other country clubs that segregated people, that kept blacks and Jews from coming into their country clubs. He opened his up to everyone, and he pushed the others to stop. What is that called? I can't even think. Stop preventing blacks and Jews from coming in. Now, there's that sound. And yet people keep saying, I'm sorry, you guys, think about it. When people say black is white, white is black, right is wrong, wrong is right, left is right, right is left, up is down, down is up. When people keep saying that to you, stop listening to them. Well, here's the deal. You can keep listening, but be aware and filter and discern what they are actually saying. Because somewhere in there are some bits of truth, because it will, just like when you look at a narcissist and you listen to a narcissist, they spout out some of the truth. Now, they cover a lot of it and manipulate it, but they do speak some of the truth some of the time. And you get to see, yes, Obi, I know that's true, but partly, but I don't think that's what drove it. I think what drove it is he works with everybody, by the way. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I know some people don't like him. That's fine. I don't care if you like him or you don't like him. That's whatever. But I want you to always look at the truth, okay? Look at the truth. And then live by the truth. Live for yourself by the truth. Don't adhere to any delusion or lies, because the lies will destroy you. Lies are not good. Lies, oh my gosh. The lies that tear down and separate people and isolate them. Doesn't this sound familiar? Because that comes from the narcissist. This is so crazy to me, because as I have studied narcissism, as I have read about and taught about narcissistic abuse, I am seeing it now being played out, but on a grand scale. I'm seeing the manipulation. I'm seeing the gaslighting. I'm seeing the lies being told, as and the delusion that's out there. I'm seeing the flying monkeys defending. Oh my gosh, that's the crazy. I see it all being played out in the town square. And that's why I want you guys to be more aware. Be careful who you trust, right? Of course. And it's okay to dismantle what you've believed. It's okay to go down to the foundation and start over, because you have to. People who come out of communist China and have been taught to believe that their leader is like God's right-hand man, for crying out loud, right? When they come out of that, they have to dismantle everything they were taught from school, right? And even from their family. They have to dismantle that in order to find truth and in order to start living by truth. Well, you guys, that's what I wanted to share with you. Yeah, brainwashing, Cynthia is talking about. There is a lot of brainwashing out there. Yeah. Yes. No mo narcs. Yes. Mario, today's rebels are tomorrow's evil empire, no matter what good deeds they did in the past. Yeah. Oh, it got me thinking about Hunger Games, you guys. I don't know. When I read that series, um, trying to remember which one it was. Was it the first one or second one? Because it's been several years ago that I read it. But the end of one of those books, the protagonist, right, the heroine of the story, she had a choice of destroying the 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 leader that was causing the leader of the capital, right, the president of the capital, and he was called President White, and he was deathly ill, and he was going to pass away pretty much any day at that point. And she had a choice of getting rid of him or getting rid of the rebel leader, who was this woman who had led this underground movement against the capital to take over the capital, which had been oppressing all these other districts. There were like 12 districts. And but when she was listening to the leader of the rebels, what she heard was this woman wanted to implement essentially the exact same oppression that the current president had implemented, but she wanted to reverse, or not reverse, but she wanted to, yeah, I guess reverse the populations, where now the districts would be in power and they will now oppress the capital, the people who lived in the capital, and put them through the same horrors that the people who lived in the districts had been put through. So now the protagonist, she's in this position at the end of the book where she's got her bow and arrow, and she has the opportunity to to shoot it at the President White, or shoot it, or and that's what everybody thought she was going to do, because he's rebelling, he's coming up, he's trying to overthrow the rebellious group, right? The rebellion. And everybody's watching and pretty much like holding their breath, and they knew she was going to strike the president. But she turns her arrow upwards and over towards the rebel leader, and she shoots the rebel leader. And people were shocked. Like, what? How could you do that? Whose side are you really on? Because throughout the book, people weren't sure which side she was on, right? There are people who are like, no, she's actually working for the president who's been oppressing all of us. No, she can't be trusted by the rebels, who want to overthrow. And some of the rebels are like, no, you can trust her. She's one of us. So at this point, you're like, oh my gosh, why did she do that? Why did she shoot the rebel leader? And her response was that because the rebel leader was going to continue to do what that president was going to do, except for the only thing that changed, though, was the populations that she was going to oppress. She's going to unleash one population and then oppress another population. So what good is that? So she got rid of that, and she allowed that president to live. But by the way, the reason she didn't shoot him was because she already knew his days were numbered. He was deathly ill. He was fighting a disease. I don't remember what it was. And he was going to die anyway. So they would be rid of both of them. They would be rid of both the left and the right, whatever, the current and the future, who were looking to oppress both of them. So she did the right thing. Anyway, as I'm watching what's unfolding in front of us, I kind of feel like this, the rebel thing is so on target with the Hunger Games, because they want to oppress a different group of people. And they're convincing themselves it's okay. There's a book out now, too, that says in defense of looting. Are you guys kidding me? And then there's another one called White Fragility, about a white woman who claims she is a racist, but she wants to act as if every white person is a racist. I'm like, no, that's not true. I know not every white person is a racist. And it's not, whether you can control it or not. If that's the truth, then everyone is a racist, by the way. Everyone. And we have to stop looking at the color of our skin. We have to start looking at the content of our character and build up your character. And that's why I talk about this so much, you guys. Build up your character. Do the right thing. Don't join the narcissists in your life. Don't become like them. And I have said this over and over again in my videos. Don't become like them. If you're angry at them, it's okay. It's normal. It's it's part of the grieving process. You can be angry at them. And that doesn't make you a bad person. You can even want, like, oh, I wish the same thing would happen to them that they did to me. But for you to actually do that, that's wrong. Okay? But don't stay there. Even if you're feeling this angry, even if you're feeling vengeful, even, all that, it has a place and time during the healing. You have to face it. This is how you feel. These are your feelings, and they are valid. But don't stay there. Don't stay in that dark pit. Don't allow it to control your life. And don't allow yourself to follow those leads of anger and hatred and abuse. You don't want to become the abuser. Always choose what's right. Well, you guys, the good news is you are stronger than the narcissists in your life. You are. You absolutely are. Because you can build and rebuild from the foundation. You can strip all the way down to your foundation and rebuild and get rid of all the lies that have been in your life, that have pervaded your life. You can do that. Narcissists can't. They are too weak to do that. They're too scared to do that. They're afraid of losing their identity, this terrible identity. Like, if your identity is this horrible person, get rid of it. People can change, right? That's why would you be afraid of changing if what you were was a horrible person, you would think, right? But narcissists are afraid of that. You are not. Don't be afraid of that. This is so beautiful. I just have so much hope for all of you guys. Bless you guys. I am so excited for you. Do what's right. And when you start feeling like things are so negative or dark in your life, don't stay up late at night. Read a book. Read an encouraging book. Even one of the books that I recommended. So there was The Truth About Cancer. I spoke about that at the beginning. It actually gives you insight about mass manipulation and what's going on in the media right now. Another good book. Oh, you know what? I'm reading a book right now. It's so awesome. It's called Seeking Allah and Finding Jesus. It's about this Muslim man from Pakistan who was raised quite a devout Muslim. And it gives you a little insight into the Muslim, at least the way he was raised. Not, there are extremists and such, but generally how most Muslims in the West are raised and what their experience is. It was really insightful. I liked it a lot. I'm about halfway through. Yeah, almost halfway through. And I would highly recommend it. It's really a good book. It's called Seeking Allah and Finding Jesus. It opens your eyes to other cultures, other religions. He talks about another friend. It's so funny. So here's this devout Muslim, becomes friends with a devout Christian while he was in college, because they have the same morals, essentially, right? They were not the big go out and use people and sleep around and do drugs. They were not in that crowd because they were both devout to their religion. They meet up with a third guy who's a devout Buddhist. And so being sort of like the joke around campus, not that they were a joke, but it's sort of like, the Muslim, a Christian, and a Buddhist get together and go to class, go to philosophy class. Anyway, it's really cute, really interesting, opens your eyes to different thoughts and different people, and gives you a heart for different people. Anyway, I would recommend that. Another good book was Over the Counter Cures. And I don't remember the guy who wrote it. I'll have to put it in the comments or something for you guys. That was also a really good book that talks about the pharmaceutical situation that we're in right now, the pharmaceutical companies and what they have done. This is a guy who used to work for a pharmaceutical company and he got out of it. And he now talks about using over-the-counter cures. Oh, natural cures. That's what it was. Something about natural cures. But I will put that in the comments after this video is done. Read good things. Build yourself up. Continue to grow. And always choose what's good. Life is good, you guys. Many blessings to you. And thank you all for coming on. I appreciate you all jumping on here. John Cowway, good to see you. Yes, yes. It's not about the color of your skin, it's about your attitude. Yes. I don't know what channel you're talking about. Maybe it's down here. Sorry, you guys, just reading some of these comments. So many, many blessings to you guys. BB Scott, good to see you here. Yeah, brainwashing, Stockholm Syndrome. It is. It's all related. That's what we're seeing unfolding in front of us right now. It's total crazy town out there. Stay disconnected from crazy town. I know we have to walk through it and be a part of it in order to function right now, but hold on to your identity of truth and goodness, and many blessings to you. I will see you guys next week.